What if one of the most powerful tools for healthy aging isn't hidden inside a supplement bottle, but something you can do with your own body? Every day, your body is quietly changing. Muscle mass becomes harder to maintain. Your balance can become less reliable. Your heart and lungs may not work quite as efficiently as they once did. And movements that used to require almost no thought, getting out of a chair, climbing stairs, carrying groceries, can gradually become more demanding. But here's the part most people don't realize. Aging isn't simply a countdown that you have no control over. Your body responds to what you repeatedly ask it to do. When you challenge your muscles, your cardiovascular system, your balance and your coordination, you're giving your body a reason to maintain those systems. And you don't necessarily need an expensive gym. You don't need complicated equipment, and you don't need to spend hours exercising every day. In this video, we're going through 7 simple movements that can become part of a long-term healthy aging routine. But there's an important distinction. These exercises don't literally turn back the clock. Instead, they target some of the physical abilities that tend to decline with age, and that means they can help you stay stronger, more mobile, and more independent for longer. Welcome to Neural Hours. Here, we separate medical myths from scientific evidence so you can make informed decisions about your health. Let's start with one of the simplest exercises humans can do: walking. Brisk walking. Walking looks almost too simple to be considered exercise, but that's exactly what makes it powerful. A brisk walk challenges your heart, lungs, and muscles without requiring complicated equipment or advanced technique. And unlike many intense workouts, walking can be incorporated into everyday life. You can walk outside. You can walk around your neighborhood. You can take the stairs. You can walk during a phone call. You can even break your activity into smaller periods throughout the day. The goal isn't simply to move your legs. The goal is to raise your activity level consistently. For most adults, a useful target is at least 150 minutes of moderate intensity aerobic activity each week. That could mean roughly 30 minutes 5 days a week. But don't think of 150 minutes as a magical threshold. If you're currently inactive, 5 minutes is better than 0. 10 minutes is better than 5. The body responds to progression, and brisk walking gives you something particularly valuable as you age: cardiovascular conditioning without requiring you to constantly push yourself to exhaustion. Think about what you're training. Your heart has to pump, your lungs have to exchange oxygen, your blood vessels have to deliver that oxygen, and your muscles have to repeatedly contract to keep you moving. It's a whole body system, but walking alone isn't enough. Because one of the biggest challenges of aging isn't simply losing cardiovascular fitness, it's losing strength. And that brings us to exercise number 2. Sit to stand. Find a sturdy chair. Sit down. Now stand up. It sounds almost embarrassingly simple. But this movement is one of the most useful ways to train a skill you perform throughout your entire life. Your legs push against the floor, your hips extend, your core stabilizes your body, and your nervous system coordinates all of it. This is essentially a controlled version of one of the most important movements of daily life: getting up, getting down, and getting up again. As people age, lower body strength becomes increasingly important because it affects everyday independence. Can you get out of a chair without using your hands? Can you climb stairs? Can you get up from the floor? Can you carry something while walking? These aren't just fitness questions. They're functional questions. And functional fitness is one of the most important forms of fitness for longevity. Start with a sturdy chair behind you. Stand with your feet approximately shoulder width apart. Lower yourself slowly until you touch the chair. Then drive through your feet and stand back up. Don't drop into the chair. Control the descent. That's where part of the training effect comes from. Start with a small number of repetitions, maybe 5, then 8, then 10. As you become stronger, you can increase the repetitions or eventually progress to a squat variation. The goal isn't to destroy your legs. It's to give your body a reason to keep them strong. And we're not finished with the lower body yet, because there's another muscle group that becomes surprisingly important as you age: your calves. Calf raises. Stand behind a sturdy chair or counter for support. Slowly rise onto the balls of your feet. Pause, then lower yourself back down. That's a calf raise. It looks simple, but your calf muscles contribute to walking, pushing off the ground, and maintaining stability. And when you combine calf strength with balance training, you're working on something much bigger than muscle size. You're working on movement confidence. Try 10 controlled repetitions. Then rest. If that becomes easy, gradually increase the number. And remember something important. You don't need to perform every exercise at maximum intensity. The goal is consistency. Because healthy aging isn't built by one heroic workout. It's built by thousands of small decisions repeated over years. Quick question before we move on of these first three. Which one do you already do regularly? Walking, sit to stands, or calf raises? Drop it in the comments. It genuinely helps me know where most of you are starting from. Now we've trained the heart. We've challenged the legs. We've worked the calves. But there's another major component of aging that people often ignore. Upper body strength. Wall push-ups. You don't need to drop to the floor to train your upper body. A wall can become your resistance. Stand facing a wall. Place your hands against it around chest height. Step your feet slightly backward. Now bend your elbows and slowly bring your chest toward the wall. Then push yourself away. That's a wall push-up. It's a simple way to train the muscles involved in pushing. As you become stronger, you can gradually make the exercise more challenging by moving your feet farther away from the wall. Eventually, some people can progress to an incline push-up using a stable, elevated surface, and eventually, perhaps, a standard push-up. The principle is called progressive overload. Your body adapts to the challenge you repeatedly give it. If the challenge never changes, the stimulus eventually becomes less demanding. That's why your routine should evolve. But strength isn't only about pushing. Your back needs attention too. And that's where the next movement comes in. Resistance row. A strong back helps support posture, pulling movements, and everyday tasks. One simple option is a resistance band row. Secure the band safely according to its instructions. Hold the handles. Keep your chest open. Then pull your hands toward your body while bringing your shoulder blades gently together. Slowly return to the starting position. If you don't have resistance bands, don't improvise with unsafe objects. You can instead use an appropriate light resistance exercise that you already know how to perform safely. The important concept is not the specific piece of equipment. It's the movement pattern. Push, pull, squat, step, carry. These are the fundamental movements that keep the body capable. And that word capable is more important than looking young. Because the real enemy of aging isn't necessarily wrinkles. It's losing the ability to do the things you want to do. Travel, climb stairs, play with your grandchildren, carry your luggage, get up from the floor, walk independently. Strength training helps protect the physical foundation behind those abilities. But there's one system that strength training alone doesn't fully address. Your balance. Single leg balance. Stand next to a sturdy chair, countertop, or wall. Keep one hand nearby for support. Shift your weight onto one leg. Then gently lift the other foot from the floor. Hold for several seconds. Then switch. That's it. But underneath this simple movement is an impressive neurological process. Your brain has to continuously interpret information from your eyes, muscles, joints, and inner ear. Then it has to make tiny adjustments to keep your body upright. Balance is not one single sense. It's a conversation between multiple systems. And like strength, it can be trained. For older adults especially, balance and functional activities are important components of physical activity because they can help maintain physical function and reduce fall risk. But safety comes first. If you're unsteady, keep a hand on a stable support. Don't practice balancing somewhere you could fall onto stairs, sharp furniture, or hard obstacles. You can also begin with a much easier version. Simply stand with your feet close together while holding a stable surface. Then progress gradually. Because the goal isn't to prove how long you can stand on one foot. The goal is to keep your nervous system practicing stability. And there's one final exercise that ties several of these systems together. Step-ups. If you have a stable step or low platform designed for exercise, step-ups can be an excellent functional movement. Place one foot onto the platform. Push through that leg. Bring the other foot up. Then step back down under control. Switch sides. What are you training? Your legs, your hips, your cardiovascular system, your coordination, and your ability to move your body upward against gravity. That's important because stairs are one of the simplest real-world tests of physical capacity. If you can comfortably climb a flight of stairs, stand up from a chair and walk briskly, you're maintaining abilities that matter far beyond the gym. But don't start with a high step. Start low, use support if needed, and control every movement. If you have knee, hip, balance, or other medical problems. Choose an appropriate variation with guidance from a qualified professional. Remember, the best exercise isn't the hardest exercise. It's the exercise you can perform safely, recover from, and continue doing consistently. Now, here's where many people get the entire concept of healthy aging wrong. They search for one exercise, one supplement, one food, one secret. But your body doesn't age through one pathway. So why would one exercise reverse it? Instead, think in terms of systems. Your aerobic exercise trains your cardiovascular system. Your strength training gives your muscles a reason to remain strong. Your balance work challenges your nervous system and stability. And your everyday movement helps prevent your life from becoming increasingly sedentary. This is why the major health guidelines don't recommend only one type of exercise. They recommend a combination. For adults, that means regular aerobic activity plus muscle strengthening activity on at least 2 days each week. For older adults, balance and functional activity become particularly important. And there's another piece that deserves attention: sitting less. You don't have to spend the entire day exercising. In fact, you shouldn't. But you can interrupt long periods of sitting. Stand up, walk around, take the stairs, do some household work, walk while talking on the phone. Every movement counts. The objective is to make movement part of your lifestyle, rather than something you do only when you remember to visit the gym. The 15-minute daily routine. So what could this actually look like? Here's a simple starting framework. Start with 3 to 5 minutes of easy movement. Walk around. Move your shoulders. Mobilize your hips and ankles. Get your body warm. Then spend several minutes on strength. Try sit to stands, wall push-ups, calf raises, and, if appropriate, resistance rows. You don't need to perform hundreds of repetitions. Start with a manageable number, then finish with a few minutes of walking or another comfortable aerobic activity. On some days, include balance work. On other days, extend your walk. And don't forget recovery. You don't have to train every muscle hard every single day. In fact, your strength sessions should be distributed across the week rather than turning every day into an intense workout. A simple weekly pattern might look like this: Monday, brisk walk plus strength. Tuesday, walking and balance. Wednesday, brisk walk plus strength. Thursday, light movement and mobility. Friday, brisk walk plus strength. Saturday, longer enjoyable activity, walking, cycling, swimming or dancing. Sunday, easy movement and recovery. That's not a punishment, that's a lifestyle. And if you're starting from almost no activity, make it easier. Your first goal isn't perfection. Your first goal is becoming someone who moves consistently. The mistakes that accelerate decline. There are 3 mistakes worth avoiding. The first is doing too much too soon. Pain and exhaustion aren't proof that a workout worked. The second is focusing only on cardio. Walking is fantastic, but strength and balance matter too. And the third is waiting for motivation. Motivation is unreliable. Habits are much more powerful. Put your walking shoes somewhere visible. Schedule your exercise. Start with 10 minutes if that's what you can manage. Then build. Because the goal isn't to have one incredible workout. It's to still be capable of moving well years from now. You can't stop time, and no exercise can literally make you younger. But you can influence how your body functions as the years pass. You can challenge your heart, maintain your muscles, practice your balance, protect your mobility, and keep your body doing the things you want it to do. So don't wait until you feel old to start training against the effects of inactivity. Start with a walk. Stand up from that chair. Do a few controlled calf raises. Push against the wall. Practice your balance. Take the stairs. Then come back tomorrow and do it again. Because healthy aging isn't about finding a secret that makes you young forever. It's about preserving your ability to live your life longer and better. If today's video gave you something you can actually start using this week instead of another vague stay active reminder, that's exactly what this channel is built for. Plain language breakdowns of the systems that keep your body working every week without the fluff. Subscribe if that's useful to you, and if you know someone who's started avoiding stairs or worries about getting up from the floor, send them this one. This routine could genuinely change how independent they stay for the next decade. And remember, you can't reverse time, but you can manage it well. And you can train the body you want to carry through it.